Hey, you guys, I am back with another video, and today's topic, we're going to be talking all about how to love yourself healthily. There's a right way to love yourself, and there's a wrong kind of arrogant way. Today, I'm going to show you how to healthily, love yourself properly, because your relationship with yourself dictates how your other relationships are going to play out. So if that is something that interests you, make sure you tune in, stick around, because we're going to jump right into it. If you have not already hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the bell notification so that you won't miss another video. And so let's jump right into this. And when I say love yourself in a healthy way, I'm talking about you making sure that you matter to you, making sure that you love the woman that you see in the mirror. And just mind my nails because I'm getting ready to do them over. So anyway, just disregard my nails. But anyway, I want you guys to know that when you're talking about loving yourself, I'm not talking about going out, spending money, buying yourself stuff. That's all a part of loving yourself because you want nice things. But I'm talking about that work that needs to take place on the inside. When you start to love yourself healthily, something different starts to happen to you. And I'll give you a prime example. I always use myself as an example because I can only share with you from experiences that I've had. Growing up as a young girl in the South, the very South, in my household, I was taught to be an overall great young lady, be a woman, make sure I know how to clean and make sure I know how to, take care of myself and all of that. But it was something still on the inside of me, had me feeling as if I wasn't good enough. And if you've been following me for some time now, you know that I suffered with low self-esteem. It wasn't until my, even into my early adulthood, I still was, had those feelings of not feeling good enough. And so as a young girl, I started to overachieve in other areas because of this low self-esteem that I had in myself. I was the best cheerleader. I was an all-American cheerleader. I had always made the honor roll. I was the secretary in Sunday school. I was the junior choir director. I overachieved in all of these other areas because I could not figure out why I did not love myself. Like I always felt like I was not good enough. Even though, I was the girl that everybody came to for advice. I was the friend that always made you laugh and all of that good stuff. I still carried a secret around because I felt like I was not good enough. And in my household, my mother instilled in me very young, which I'm doing, with my children, instilled the word of God in me, but it still just was something that I thought that I was missing. And so I'm going to share with you how to healthily love yourself today. And hopefully it will shed some light and help you know that, it's okay if you're struggling with that. Because again, everybody have their own journey that they have to go. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to, make you're going to make some not so wise choices because it's all a part of your journey. And for a long time, it took me a long time to understand. And these are some of the conversations I used to have with God. Well, why did I have to go through this thing? Or why did I have to go this direction? Why couldn't you just have gotten me here like this? But it was all a part of me growing into the woman that I am today. It took a lot of years, you guys. The smile you see, the goofiness woman you see, it never fails, you guys. Every time I get ready to record, the phone always rings. But anyway, like I was saying, it took some years for me to really peel back the layers of pain, the layers of, things that happened to me in my childhood, the things that, that happened that was painful in my life. It took some time for me to deal with each area because everything that happens in your life, it takes you some time to go through each individual. And depending on your life, you may have had some things to that really was hurtful to overcome. And you have to allow yourself the time and the grace to really go through those things. So the first thing, in order for you to have a healthy love for yourself, is to be honest with yourself. This is something I say to myself all the time. This is something that I tell my clients. You cannot expect to have a healthy love and healthy respect for yourself if you are not being honest with yourself. You can lie to everybody else, but when you start to lie to yourself, you setting yourself up for failure. You can put on the biggest mask, you can put on the biggest front on social media, and social media will have people thinking you are just the bomb.com, because again, social media is set up where you show people what you want them to see, and rightfully so. Everything about you shouldn't be on social media. And I just have to be real, it took a long time for me to understand that. Like, when I was taught to build the like and know trust factor, I thought you just have to tell everything about your life. And being that I'm older and I'm wiser now, some things you just gotta leave between you and God. Some things you have to just live and go through. Everything is not to be put on social media. And not saying it's nothing wrong with sharing parts of your life, and that's fine, but you gotta have something for yourself. You can't have everybody shouldn't have a front row seat into your life, because everybody don't deserve that. And so when you are being honest with yourself, sometimes you have to step away from it all. Sometimes you have to say, you know what? I'm feeling some type of way about this issue. I'm feeling this way about this type of person, and I don't like the way they're treating me. This could be your girlfriend, one of your girls, your best friends. It could be your spouse, your boyfriend. It could be whoever you are dealing with. If they are doing something that's causing you pain, and you front like it doesn't bother you, and you tell yourself that it's okay and I'm gonna shake it off, you are lying to yourself, because you're human. You have feelings. And I'm telling you guys, if you keep lying to yourself and you keep brushing off stuff like it don't matter and you strong, because again, here I am. I was a woman that was raised in a household where you were taught to do everything as a woman. You don't depend on nobody. And as much as I appreciate my mom for teaching me how to take care of myself, how to make my own money, that's all great. But you have to know how to receive help too. And that is something that over the years, you know, I've learned. It's okay to ask for help. And I don't mind asking for help. If I need some help with something, I'm just going to be like point blank. I was that girl in school on the front row with 50 million questions. I was that girl that you probably was annoyed with, because if I don't understand something, I ask questions. Whether it's in a relationship, if something's not right, I start to ask questions. Maybe I ask too many questions, but that's okay. If something feels off to you, you got to learn how to speak up for yourself. That's all a part of having a healthy self-respect and love for yourself. When something doesn't sit right with you, you speak up. When somebody is in your presence and they're doing something that doesn't really make you feel all that great, you have to say something. I know you want to be the one to have peace and all of that, and you can still have peace. Really, you will have more peace when you start to speak up and say what really, if it's ticking you off, speak about it. You can say it in a nice, polite way. And then sometimes you just have to get a little ghetto with it, because sometimes people take your niceness for weakness. And so you have to make it known however way you can. And so when you be honest with yourself, you start to really trust yourself more. And that goes back to and I always use dating, because we as women, we're such emotional beings, and we sometimes we wear our feelings on our sleeves. And so what I've learned over the years is not everything deserves my attention. And I think I was somebody was interviewing me and they was asking me, so how do you deal with, you know, when people are saying negative things about you, or when people are saying things that are not true about you? And what I've learned over the years is I don't address it. I don't give my energy to something that I know is not going to make a bit of a difference. Because again, people are going to perceive you how they want to perceive you. They are going to think whatever they want to think. And so when you lose your sleep and lose your cool, you're giving away your power. So when you know something not to be true about you or who you stand for, and somebody or something has tarnished your name, there's really nothing you can do but let your life speak for itself. You be who God created you to be, whether they like you or not. And that goes into tip number 2. You have to be willing to change. See, and I say this with the utmost respect for myself, because the work that God is doing in my life, at one point I was so against it, because change is necessary. In order for you to be the woman or man, for those of you the amazing men that love to watch my channel, in order for you to be who God has called you to be, you're going to have to be okay with change. Change is a good thing. You can't be the woman you are today and the woman you were 20 years ago. It's just not possible, because as time go on and you go through things in life, you learn things and you do things that you look back on and say, you know what the hell was I thinking when I did such and such? Because as you grow, you get wiser. As my grandmother used to say, baby, you keep living long enough, life has a way of knocking you down. And when it knocks you down, you got to be willing to get back up and get in the race again. And so that is what I'm saying to you. If your life is not going the way you want it to, if you are not feeling a certain way, the way you want it to in your life, there may be a nudge or something that God is tugging in your heart that you got to do something different. In order for you to see a new result, you can't keep doing the same thing that got you in the situation. And I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, but when I get to talking about self-love, it's very dear to my heart, because it took me on a journey of my own self-discovery and love for myself in a healthy way. So be willing to change. And then the next thing you want to do is, the absolute next step is forgive yourself for the mistakes you made in the past. And I always jump ahead of myself, but this one is a big one, because in order for you to be the best woman that you want to be, in order for you to live the life that you've dreamed of, you know, all the great things that you want to do, you gotta be willing to forgive yourself for your past. All of us have a past, and I don't care how some people may look at you funny, like they never did anything that wasn't ethical or wasn't right, or they've never made a mistake or anything. They're lying. Everybody has a past. It's just some of us past is out in the open where the world can see, and some of them are in closets. You see what I'm saying? So don't be so hard on yourself for mistakes you made in your 20s, your 30s. I'm telling y'all my age. I'm 40-something, and I'm proud of it, honey. I'm blessed to be the 40-something fierce woman that I am. But it took a lot of work, and self-forgiveness was one of them, because for so many years I beat myself up about things that happened to me and mistakes that I made. You know, should I have said this? Should I have done this? Or should I have been with this guy? Or all of that stuff, it will plague on you. And I look back over it and I say all of it was necessary, because it taught me something. Even the relationships that didn't work out, it taught me something. Even if it taught me what I didn't want, it taught me something. And so what I say to myself is, gracefully, you only did what you knew how to do. And I'll say this with the utmost love for myself and for you as well. You only do what you know to do. And so when you learn better, you can make better decisions. And one of my biggest lessons that I learned in relationship wise is that you cannot make a man love you. I don't care how many babies you got by him. I don't care how much sex you give him. I don't care how much whatever you give him. If that man does not love you, oh honey, you can turn back with flips if you want to. It is not going to keep him home. Do you hear me? Yeah, if y'all don't hear nothing else I tell you, stop chasing men that don't want to be chased. And you ain't supposed to be chasing no way. Let's just clear that up. Women, we are not supposed to be chasing a man anyway. But when a man shows you that he don't love you, that he don't want to be with you, don't be trying to trick him. Don't be trying to manipulate him. Don't be trying to throw your cookie at him, because honey, he can get cookie from anywhere. He'll get it from you and somebody else too. And I'm telling you what God loves. You cannot make a man love you. And when the quicker you soon realize that, you save yourself a lot of headache. See, when you take the time to start to put that energy and effort into being the better woman that you can be, God will send the right man that's perfect for you. Not a perfect man, but he'll send the right one that's for you. And when I finally got that message, when I finally got that message, y'all, it kind of almost like set me free, because you cannot make a man love you. That's just not in the books. That's just not going to work. And anything that's forced is not going to work out. So when you're putting all your energy and time into being different for this man and doing all these things to get him to love you, you're losing yourself. And so much of yourself is all about him. You have to be whole as a woman, as a person by yourself. You didn't come in this world with a man unless you were a twin or something like that, and you got a twin sibling. But most of us are single birth babies. And so when you have to be whole and happy within yourself. And that's why I say it's so important for us as ladies to do the work that is necessary, because it's not that man's responsibility to come in and make you happy. It's not that man's responsibility to come in and save you. It's not his responsibility to do anything, really, but to be the man that God has called him to be, to provide, to love us. But if we're not loving ourselves, it's going to make it very difficult for that man or anybody to love you, because you are so hard on yourself. So if you are single, ladies, don't be so quick to try to run into the arms of another man because you don't want to be by yourself. That's going to set you up for some more pain. Haven't you had enough pain yet? Like, I don't know about you, but my last relationship, it was just, it was a lot of pain. It was a lot of tears. Don't get me wrong. It was a lot of happy times too, but it was a lot of tears shed and a lot of unhappiness. And I would say my responsibility, I'll take responsibility for my part. I was such a broken young lady in my last relationship. And I had so many things that I needed to work on. But in my mind, I wanted that relationship to work at any cost. And I'm just telling you the honest God truth, and it's not healthy. That's why I sit here and tell you guys, you have to do the work on yourself before you add somebody else into the mix, because it's just not going to work. And then too, you have to be at a place where you're tired of doing the same thing. Like at some point, ladies, you got to be sick of the clubs. I've never been the type to be all up in the clubs. I think I was in the clubs, especially when I pledged, and that was like a couple of times. Did some things with my sorors, but as far as like, I gotta go to the clubs, it wasn't really my cup of tea. Not knocking you ladies that do club. If that's your thing, that's what you do you. But what I'm saying, for me, the club was never one of those things where I gotta let it go and all of that. Even at 40 something years old, you know, I'm more of, I'm a simple type of woman. I like stuff that, I'm an entrepreneur girl. So anything that's about entrepreneurship, anything that's comic wise, like comedy, oh, you could catch me at a comedy show. Oh my God, I love to laugh. But it's like jazz music, you know, that R&B 90s. I'm that 90s type of music girl. You know, I don't know about this kind of music they got now, but you know, that's the kind of stuff that intrigues me, you know. So being able to enjoy your own company, that is something that's going to really, really set you apart from any type of woman. When you're positioning yourself to be the best woman that you can be, you act different. You no longer do the stuff that you used to do in your 20s. And for those of you that are young, you know, I'm telling you this with love, you know, enjoy your 20s, because you know, that's the chance, that's the time where you're learning yourself. You're rediscovering, learning things that you love and things that you don't. You don't have to have everything all figured out. I mean, for me in my 20s, looking back, I had everything mapped out. I was gonna be this by this age. I was gonna do this by this, and I had to have this, and that's probably some of the reason why I fell into something in those chapters, because I had my life like set out. By the time I was 30, I wanted to be here, and I still am goal oriented like that. But it's just my goals are more intrigued or in tune with where I'm going, not necessarily meaning I have to rush myself to get there. I'm gonna get there in God's timing. And so the next tip you want to do is believe that you're worthy of it. Whatever your goals and dreams are, whatever that woman you are asking God to help mold you and shape you and become, you got to first believe that you're worthy of it. And I know for myself, sometimes I still struggle with that worthy aspect of it, because you know, the devil knows your heart. He knows your goals, your future, just like God does. And he'll always throw the same tricks. He'll throw the same things to you. And you got to get to a point where you say, you know what, devil, you don't come with any new tricks. You know, some of the things that the devil tries to throw in my way is, you know what happened to you as a kid? You know, you're not good enough, or, you know, your last marriage didn't work. What makes you think your next one go? You know, all stupid stuff like that. You know, you're not gonna be able to have a business like you want, or your YouTube channel. It's just all kind of negativity stuff that the enemy tries to throw at my way, in my path. And I have to always throw back at him that God will give me the desires of my heart if I stay faithful, if I stay on the right path, meaning I'm not looking behind me because my past is just what it is, that I'm strictly looking forward, moving ahead. And the woman that I am today, I had to maneuver through a lot of detours, but I'm here today because of the grace of God. And that's how you need to start looking at your life. The goals, sit down and write out what your goals are. You don't know if you will arrive there if you don't know or have a plan. You got to write the vision, make it plain. Y'all know the word. Write the vision, make it plain. Get you a vision board. If you're a visual board type of girl like myself, I have to see stuff. I'm a visual person. So when I put my goals and write them down in my journal, I have to put pictures up to remind me where I'm going, because the enemy will always try to throw up in your face where you come from. And like I said before, in the beginning of this video, everybody has a past, but you don't have to be defined by your past. I know with social media, you know, once you put stuff out there, it's out there. But listen, you can't control that. You know, you can't control how people perceive you. All you can do is be the best version of yourself. Let your actions in your life speak for itself. And then if you need to tweak some things along the way, do that. And don't be afraid of change. And then my next tip is Be respectful towards yourself. How can you expect for somebody else to be respectful to you or to show you respect when you're always down on yourself? You're always negative towards yourself. You're always putting yourself down. Nobody wants to be around a negative Nancy. I know for me, it irks me. If it's something that's in your power that you can change, do so. Otherwise, stop talking about it. Gossiping and talking about yourself all the time or talking about other people. That's not a good look on you. If you're striving to be the better version of yourself, when you see another woman doing her thing, celebrate that woman. It takes nothing from you to say, oh, girl, you look cute today. Oh, girl, you did that. Girl, that ebook you put out, that was good. You know, be okay with celebrating another woman. That's not going to take anything from you. And then the next tip in order for you to love yourself in a healthy way is to explore new things with yourself. You know, what are some things, if I ask you today, leave me a comment below in the comment section. If I ask you, what are some things that you love to do? Would you be able to tell me? Would you be able to tell me what makes you happy if I ask you that today? If I had asked myself this about 20 years ago, I'd probably be stumbling. I had some idea, but because I had so many things I needed to work through, I didn't really know exactly what made me happy. But now at almost 40, wait a minute, let me get my age right. 43, I'm almost 43. I can tell you clearly what makes me happy, what makes me tick, what makes me pop. I can tell you things about myself because I've taken the time to spend time with myself. I don't need anybody else to come in and tell me what makes me happy. I know what makes me happy. And that is how I say to you, be okay with exploring new things. Get out and try new things. I mean, I've tried Mexican food and I always used to say I hated Mexican food. Never really ate any of it, but I just always used to tell myself, Mexican food and me, we don't go together. We don't do good together. Now, Chipotle is like one of my favorite places to go. I love some avocado and veggies, grilled veggies and all that kind of stuff mixed together. But you won't know unless you give yourself permission to try something new. And then the next tip you want to be okay with when loving yourself is setting boundaries. Sometimes you got to put boundaries in place to keep your sanity and your peace. Save something for you. You got to be okay with saying, you know what? Don't call me after a certain hour. Don't come by. You know, these are some things I set in place. I don't like surprise visits. If you don't call me first, text me first that you coming, you'll be sitting there talking to the doorbell because I will not answer. And I could be sitting right on the couch listening to you not. But if you don't call me first, you're not coming to my house. I don't like surprise visits. Never have, and I never will. You know, don't call me after, you know, certain hours of the night because I'm not talking to you. Don't want to talk to you. But these are some things that I have in place. If you come around me and you're always constantly nagging or you're being negative, I'm going to limit my time with you. Especially if you're a family member. I can't really say I divorce you, but I can limit my time spent with you. And so you got to put these, you know, even on social media, who are you following? Are those people motivating you? Are they inspiring you to be the best version of yourself? Because if they're not, why are you following them? And then too, you have to ask yourself, if you're trying to better yourself and be healthier, why are you constantly following other women that are size 2 and 3 when you're struggling with your weight? That's just going to make you more depressed. Some people said that'll motivate you, but it don't motivate you. It just makes you start picking yourself apart. Oh, I got a belly and all of this. And here's my thing when I say about that. When you're on social media, you should be following people to make you a better person. Don't be following people that makes you feel bad about who you are. I had to learn that the hard way because I kept wondering why every time I would get on social media, because really I just got back on social media within the last few months or so. But I would always feel depressed. And it was because I was following people either from my past or I was following people that I had a bad encounter with. And I learned early on, especially in business, once you show me who you are and you're not a person of integrity or something like that, then I block you. I unfollow you. I unfriend you. You know, I leave your groups or whatever, because I'm in the business of being the better woman that I can be. And I'm not going to follow people that make me feel like I'm less than, make me feel some type of way, or people that's from my past. I don't follow people. I just don't do it. I don't have time. I really don't have time. And I've learned, you know, even when I'm watching stuff on TV, if it's not feeding me spiritually, if it's not making me laugh, if it's not uplifting me, every once in a while, you know, I watch stories, you know, and it makes me feel some type of way, but I can't watch it too often because I know me, I'm a very touchy-feely person, and my feelings, you know, I feel when I'm watching stuff and it's sad, I feel it too. So that's an FYI for me, you guys. If you're following people on social media and it's causing you to feel some type of way about yourself, that's a clear indication you need to unfollow, block, or whatever you need to do. You don't need to be following. Your feed is for you. You don't want your feed to be all negative and stuff. That's going to carry your mood down. And so you have to be careful of the people you're following, people you allow in your space. Not everybody deserves a front row seat into your life. And so you have to be mindful of that when you're on social media, the events you attend, the places you go. You go to places that brings you joy, that uplifts you, that wants you to be the better version of yourself. You hanging around negative Nancy and negative Sue, you're going to be the third negative. You see what I'm saying? If you're constantly, you know, trying to better yourself financial wise, and you're always hanging around people that spend every dime they got, you're going to be the next broke one. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be careful about when it comes to your life, setting those boundaries, because you are in charge of your life and it's up to you how you operate. And then the next one is every day you need to pray over yourself. And I'm not saying you got to say a long out prayer and use all these big fancy words, because your girl over here, I don't do them big words because half of them I don't know what they mean no way. But I try to talk to God before I get my foot out of bed. You know, I try to, you know, go through a thing, at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. You know, sometimes late at night when my kids are asleep, I get up and pray over them. And sometimes they can feel me when I come in the room, you know, which they should, you know, because I come and I lay my hands on them and I pray over them, because I want, if I can't give my kids anything else, I want to plant that word of God in their hearts, because when they get older and they get grown, they gonna go through their own journey and they need a foundation, something that they can fall back on. Because I think I was listening to Tyler Perry talk about how his mom instilled God in him as a child and how that has carried him throughout the years. And he said his mom didn't have a lot to offer him, but what she did offer him is that word of God. And that is something that I really want to instill in my children, that, you know, at the end of the day, if you can't reach mommy or daddy, or, you know, if you can't reach us or somebody that you need to talk to, you can always talk to God. And that's something that I'm wholeheartedly about. I try to pray, you know, sometimes I pray throughout the day. It just depends on what I got going on. But I know I pray at night and in the mornings and before I go to bed, because I like to end my nights and start my day on a positive note. So that is another tip that I advise for you to do. And then the next one is, if it's something that you are going through that's really big and it's bigger than you, please don't be hard-headed like I was and try to take it in your own hands and tell yourself you strong, you got this, and all the meanwhile you further falling into this trap. Talk to a therapist. I ain't ashamed. I did. I've talked to a therapist a time or two in my life and not ashamed of it, because sometimes it takes for you to talk to a complete stranger to really get what's inside of you to come out and to make sense of it so that you can properly heal. You know, I will say this, you know, sometimes you can't always reach your pastor, and that's who I recommend first, is your pastor. But sometimes, you know, just being honest, sometimes you want to talk to somebody that's not going to be biased, meaning they don't know you, they don't know your history or anything like that. And I know for myself, when I was going through my divorce, years ago, years ago, I had my church family, my prayer partner, sister and brother, and then I had my other prayer warriors. So I had like a support system, but some things I needed to talk about that nobody knew me. And so that's when I got a therapist to help me kind of navigate, because again, you know, going through that, a divorce is something really big, and especially when you have children involved. And so I wanted to make sure I took the right steps, because I did not want to do anything to hurt my kids anymore. And they were real young at that time. So what I'm saying to you is, don't get so proud and don't let your ego get in the way of your healing. If that therapist is going to help you get to the next phase in your life so that you can be free and fully love yourself wholeheartedly, not arrogantly, but wholeheartedly and truthfully be the woman that you were created to be, there's nothing wrong with getting a therapist. And then my last and final tip I have to say is, in order to love yourself healthily, once you get all the toxic stuff out of your life, once you get all the toxicity out of your heart, your mind, because all of that goes together. You can't get it out of your heart without getting it out of your brain. So once you detox, I'm going to say that, detox, and work through all the issues and get all the stuff, now it's time for you to set yourself up for some new goals. That's where you get your journal out and you write down your new goals, and then you make affirmations according to where you're going, the things that you want to achieve. And I found I used to use, I don't know if I have them up here. They're in my prayer closet, but I found scriptures for every area of my life where the devil was trying to attack me. And I wrote down scriptures, and at that time, I took them to my job and I laminated them. And I used those cards in my prayer closet to remind me, this is what's factual. This is what God says about me. These are the things that I'm going to believe for myself to be true for me. And on my mirror in my bathroom, I have the sign, I am enough, because I constantly have to replay that in my head, because sometimes I have those days where it's like everything that could go wrong goes wrong. Or I have those days, like I know a couple of days when this first quarantine stuff came about, I was a little like depressed. And I had to acknowledge that and call it for what it was, because I was like, though I'm used to working from home and I'm used to being at home, it was a lot, because now my kids were home all day, like all day. When I tell you, as quick as I fill the refrigerator up, as quick as it get empty, like, my kids are teenagers. they eat like some grown people. And so with them being home all day, it was a lot, you know, having to adjust my schedule so that I can spend time with them and not neglect them. You know, my daughter, she's still at that age where she likes to clean. And I'm grateful, because some days she be in her little twos, you know, when girls start to blossom and bloom, the attitude comes with that too. So I'm having to deal with that now. And then, you know, my son, he's just to himself. You never know he's in the house unless you call his name. But I had to adjust my schedule to not work so much, because my kids always say, Mommy, you work so much. You always working so hard. You need to take a break. You need to relax and play some board games with us. So I'm trying, I've revamped my schedule to do more things with them, because again, they only kids for so long. And so I don't want them growing up feeling that mommy put her business before them or put a man before them. So I don't want them to ever feel that way. I want them to always know that mommy is always there for them and so forth. But at the same time, you got to nourish yourself and fill your cup up first before you can overflow and help someone else. I'm no good to my kids. I'm no good to anybody if I am depleted, overwhelmed, depressed, or anything like that. So I make it a point to get up every morning at least 30 minutes before they do. Because now with schooling almost coming to an end, you're talking about a mommy is going to be celebrating. What? I feel like I've been in school. But I've adjusted my schedule where I get up now at like 7 or 7:30. instead of getting up at my usual 4:30 or whatever. I turn over at 4:30 and read my Bible scripture, but I don't get up. So just being real with you guys. But these tips, I hope that they bless you in some way. I know this video was kind of a little long, but y'all know when I get on self-love and things of that nature, it's very dear to my heart, because I want every woman out there to feel enough to know that she's worthy of all things that are good. And so you guys have an amazing rest of your day. God bless. Remember, you are absolutely enough, and everything that you need is already on the inside of you. So God bless, and I will see you on the next video.